As our caption says, you in APC are not the only people reaching out for the hearts of the youths. Arguably, some parties are doing that much more actively than others. What is your assessment? Because there seems to be a movement of the youths. We see, we hear them being sensitized to register, to obtain their PVC cards, to vote, and to ensure that their votes count. This is what every party will be saying to the youths. But what is your assessment of how well your party is doing in that regard? Targeting, as it were, putting the youth in your crosshairs as a block, as a block that you must speak to in the language that they will understand. Because I think the youths of today are very much different. You said it yourself. They are connected digitally more than at any other time in that we know. How well do you think your party, for instance, I imagine you can speak for the APC on this whole matter, how well are you doing, wooing the youths, shall we say, or young people?
Like you rightly said, Uncle Yori, you said not just we in the APC, we have a lot of groups that are pro-Asiwaju and pro-APC. For instance, I run another group called the Progressive Ambassadors. We also have the Asiwaju group. We have the Nigerian Diaspora for Asiwaju. We have huge number of support groups that are pushing. And I can assure you without equivocation, because I also participated in a walk for Asiwaju sometimes in April in Lagos. I can tell you without equivocation, Uncle Yori, we have done a lot and we are still doing a lot for mobilization. The thing you are saying today is because some of us respect INEC and we have to respect timing and the dates that INEC has put in place for some things to be done. That is why it looks like you are not saying much, but a lot of work is going on the ground. I can assure you, and don't forget also, just about a year ago, the APC embarked on a membership drive, and we were able to put our membership at about 40 million. Maybe what you didn't know there is that more than 60% of that number were young people. So clearly the APC and everybody connected to the Asiwaju movement understand the importance of the young people, and you will be very, very uninformed if you assume that you can neglect that huge demography. We are not neglecting them. In fact, most of the messaging that we are packaging today is for the young people. We have a huge media presence on the social media. We have the Asiwaju, that's the Abat Media Center. That's Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu Center. We have a lot of group for the Shetima, that is the vice presidential candidate of the APC, also in the north. I happen to be in Abuja now, and I have been liaising with a lot of young group in the north. I can assure you the northern youth are also on board 100% with Asiwaju. So we don't have any problem with the young people. Yes, there could be a few minority vociferous voice who attack and shout people down on the social media. We are not raising a rabid group of people who will be insulting and attack other people for their beliefs. No. We don't want to do that. We are raising a group of gentlemen and ladies who are young but are not hot-headed and are not unintelligent and uninformed. So we are raising an informed group of people who are informed, who are intelligent, who are smart, and who are also respectful, who will understand that, look, you don't necessarily have to support what we support, but you have a right to whatever you support, and we don't have to attack you for it. So we are growing that kind of huge base of young people, and they are intelligent, they are informed, and I can assure you we don't have a problem with the young people at all.
The youth demographic as a whole, away from the narrow perspectives of the individual parties, each one of them will be, of course, talking about them in relation to their aspirations. But looking at that demographic as a whole, the youth, it is felt, they can be a difficult demographic because they're young and they have observed what has been going on. They've observed governance. And it is felt that until this time around, going into 2023, they weren't very interested in politics because they had been disillusioned by what they had seen, including this government, let it be said. This government, going back through the governments, they had been disillusioned in the sense that they compare, whether fairly or unfairly, whether rightly or wrongly, they compare with what's going on around the world because that's the special thing with the youth of today. He can look around the world from just looking into his device. So, the news is at his beck and call. The news has not, the youth have not been all that impressed, it would seem, by their behavior. But it looks like this time around, correct me if I'm wrong, and if you have observed similar things, this time around, I don't know, there seems to be a movement where you see them in unprecedented numbers, exclusively youths struggling to get the wherewithal to be able to vote. Now, whether they do vote is another matter, but this question about handling the youth in the light of their experience, the schools are what they are, the universities are not there, too many of our youths are going out of the country, they're taking up citizenship everywhere else. It's important to them, but they still are Nigerian, and I imagine a lot of them still identify with Nigeria, but they're saying that in terms of living a daily life, this is not the place to be. Do you think enough has been done by all of the parties to persuade them that, guys, it's different this time around?
Well, I think sometimes we over-amplify some area of our lives. I was alive to witness what happened in the 80s and 90s when huge number of our doctors were going to Saudi Arabia. Then it looks like the world will collapse on Nigeria. So migration is not a new phenomenon. However, we also need to understand that the world is going through a terrible period. I was just going through some news item of a lady who was complaining that their gas bill in the UK, her gas bill was like 300 and something pounds then, and she claimed it is now 400, and by December it will become 1,000, whatever. It tells you that there are challenges everywhere. What I see people try to amplify is the challenge of Nigeria and pretend like we are an island, and then when people just travel out of the country, they will just jump into one new heaven where they will not have any problem at all. The truth is, maybe because a lot of people have never had the opportunity to either travel or have people who have traveled, so they get misinformed and all those things. I can tell you clearly that there are challenges. We will not downplay the challenge. There are challenges. However, are our challenges similar to other climes or they are different? The truth is they are similar. You remember in just the past 2-3 years ago, we had this COVID lockdown that affected the entire world, so that till today, many economies are still trying to recover from. And before you can even say Jack Robinson, we are trying to recover, we got hit by another unnecessary war in Russia, where gas price of wheat and so many other things are being affected. However, what is Nigeria doing about these challenges? I will not want to speak for government because I am not in government, but I want to speak for Asiwaju because I have an idea of what his plans are. He has said, and clearly I remember in one of his speeches, he was talking about let's grant credit. And I will use this to explain something. A lot of Nigerian young people, when they got abroad, they will tell us how it's easy to buy cars, how easy to get houses. And I completely identify with that. Because in Nigeria today, to buy a house, you have to stump up. If the house is 50 million, you have to go and look for 50 million naira cash, which is, in my estimation, in quote, that's crazy. However, he has talked about, let's change that narrative. Let's have credit system. such that if you want to buy a house, all you need to show is a visible means of livelihood. And then you cannot have a credit line of maybe 10, 20, 30 years. If you are in your 30s, for instance, and you are buying a house and then you are having a mortgage for 30, 35 years, clearly you can pay over that period of time. And that is what happens in all the places they go to, in Canada, in America, wherever they go. The same thing obtains. Same thing with purchasing a car. You have to stump up the 4-5 million to buy a car, which is crazy too, in my estimation. However, if you have a system in place where you have a visible means of livelihood, you can get a credit to get a car, and you pay off in a period of 2, 3, 4 years. So that way, the things that make our young people who feel Nigeria is not working for them, Asiwaju is already thinking about this. I know there are challenges, and like I keep saying, I won't downplay those challenges. However, you do not solve a problem that has been there for years in one fell swoop. We have not had a system where credit system works in the country. We're just building it. And this government has tried. I mean, in terms of their own, while I don't want to speak for them, but I still remember that they have done a lot in terms of the youth. You have the Empower, you have the so many other programs that they have put in place to bring in the youth so that they can be trained. You see, we are not marrying so many things together. Our educational system is such that when people go to school, they are trained to look for jobs. And the moment they cannot find the white-collar job, they become despondent, they are sad, they can't move forward in life. But now you have these programs that is telling them that, look, anywhere in the world, every economy is built around entrepreneurship, people creating wealth. Your 50,000, 100,000 naira salary will not make you wealthy. You will just be adequate. However, if you can do other things, and this is what we also have to do when the Asiwaju presidency becomes achievable, we have to look at our educational system.
Indeed.
In the sense that we
sorry to interrupt.
Continue to run a system where you just build people to look for jobs. We should be able to create wealth. We have a 200 million population that can create and generate enough wealth. Those are the areas that we will be looking at to generate and build wealth among our young people.